Okay, so this is part two of the lesson on finding the minimum monthly payment on credit cards. Now remember, we are talking about credit cards. So remember in part one, when we talked about credit cards, we discussed the fact that those were open-end installment loans versus fixed installment loans. And remember, fixed installment loans are things like car loans and mortgages. So that's where you pay a set amount each month. Part goes towards the interest, the rest goes towards the principal. Okay, now for our lesson though, we are focusing for credit cards, we're focusing on um, finding the average daily balance method. So that's the method we're using. There are other methods we discussed last time, and these are going to be in your notes in Canvas if you want to learn more about these. But there's something called the previous balance method and the adjusted balance method. But for the most part, many banks use the average daily balance method to determine the minimum monthly payment. Okay? All right, so this is part two. So we're going to go ahead and look at the problem that goes with part two. Remember, in part one, we looked at um, this problem. So that was this problem. Sorry, wrong one. So in part one, we looked at this problem in part one. Um, so make sure you go back and you look at the part one work we did with this, because that work will be the same work that we'll use with this problem. All right, so here's the situation. So again, remember we are trying to find, our goal here is to find the minimum monthly payment, okay? Minimum monthly payment based on all your transactions for that billing cycle, for that billing period. Okay, so let's look at the problem. The following credit card calculates interest using the average daily balance method. The monthly interest rate is 1.3% of the average daily balance. Now remember, uh, when you look at your credit cards, it's given in terms of APR, the annual percentage rate. And so to find the monthly um, interest rate, you just take the annual percentage rate, which in this case is going to be 15.6%. Now, most credit cards, the interest rate is probably more than that, but basically you would take the annual percentage rate and divide by 12. So if I take this number, divide by 12, 12 months in a year, I get 1.3, and that's what this is. Okay? So determine your interest, because at some point you have to determine the interest that that the bank will charge you based on your transactions during the month. Um, that ending, or that average daily balance, the average daily balance will be charged this percentage. Okay? All right, so you would take your APR, whatever it is, 18%, 20%, 22.7%, whatever it may be, divide by 12, and that will give you your monthly interest rate. Okay? All right. Now, if I want to find the minimum monthly payment, remember what we do. Okay, so first of all, let's look at this. So your beginning balance is this from the previous ending balance. So this is now your previous balance, $5,323.86. And so your beginning, your billing date, the begin date is June 1st, and the ending billing period is June 30th. Okay. On June 5th, you made a payment of $120. So that's when the bank got this payment, is $120. Okay. So that's be a credit. On June 14th, you had a charge of $23.75. On June 18th, you had two charges, and those are the amounts. And then on June 23rd, you had a charge of $16.28. Okay, so make sure you have, this is in Canvas, so make sure you have that opened. All right, and then Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find the average daily balance. Find the average daily balance. So those are basically your steps to get into this point. Step one, find the average daily balance for the billing period. Now, remember we had a lengthy discussion about that. So we talked about the idea of average. So go back to part one. Go back to part one and review all this. So we talked about the average. We reminded ourselves, how do we find the average of something? Okay, so you add up the entities or the entries and you divide by however many you have. All right. Now keep in mind, we also discussed that for example, if every day your balance is 10, well, your average should be 10, right? Okay, so if there are 31 days in May, well, there's 31 days in May. You multiply 31 by 10, that gives you 310. Divide by 31, your average is 10. Okay, so that's the idea that you're going to use here again. All right, but it's very important you know how to find the average daily balance. So go back before we begin with number two. Go back and review this part, and then also review the work we did for that first assignment. Okay? All right, the idea is the same, so make sure you understand everything that's involved here. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is, now you're going to need this in front of you as well. All right, so part A is where we're going to find the average daily balance. That's what we have to do. So find the average daily balance. Okay, before I can find the monthly minimum payment, I've got to find the interest, and before I find the interest, I've got to find the average daily balance. Okay, average daily balance. All right, so we're going to do this in steps. So you're going to need all these transactions. All right, so we're going to do a table. We're going to have our date, and the date is based on these dates here. And the next column, you're going to have the unpaid balance, the daily unpaid balance, unpaid daily balance. Okay? All right. Now, what that means is this. So, notice that on June 1st, which is your beginning date, on June 1st, what was the balance? What did you owe on June 1st? Well, that was this amount here, your previous balance. Okay? So that'll be, so on June 1st, you're going to write $5,323.86. That's what you're going to write. Now, notice that this number right here, so make sure you understand this, that number means this. All right, so that number means this. So on June 1st, here was my balance. My balance was $5,323.86, right? Okay. What was the balance on June 2nd? What was the balance on June 2nd? Well, what do you think it is? Well, it was the same amount, right? Because from June 1st and then all of a sudden you did something on June 5th. So that means on June 1st through June 4th, what was your daily balance? Well, that was your daily balance right here. So that's going to be true from June 1st all the way to June 4th, right? That's going to be your balance. Y'all agree with that? Okay? Then all of a sudden on June 5th, the bank received a payment. So they're going to credit my account. All right, so let's talk about that. All right, so let's write down June 5th now. See how this part comes from this part? Okay, so on June 5th, something happened to my account. I made a credit. All right, so on June 5th, I'm going to ask you, on June 5th, is your daily balance the same as this? No, why not? Because I made a payment. The bank received my payment on that day. All right, so what we're going to do then is this. We're going to take the previous one now, $5,323.86, because that was the balance on June 4th. Y'all agree? And I'm going to subtract. You're going to subtract because that's a credit. So subtract 120, and you get, let's see, when I subtract $5,323 $23.86, subtract 120, you're going to get $5,203.86. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and draw this vertical line here. All right. So now what does that mean? What does this right here mean? That means that that's my daily balance from June 5th all the way to what date do you think? June what? June 14th? Nope, because on June 14th something happened. But June what? 13th. Yep, that's correct. So from June 5th all the way to June 13th. Is it 13th? Yep. My daily balance for those days is $5,203.86. Okay? That's what that means. So for these days, this was my balance, my daily balance. For these days, this was my daily balance. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and do the next one. So all of a sudden now, on June 14th, I made a charge. I made a transaction. And so now my daily balance is no longer, so on June 14th, is my balance still this? No, because I purchased something, $23.75. So then I'm going to have $5,203.86 plus a charge of $23.75, and that gives me, okay, use your calculator, that gives me $5,227.61. So that's my new balance now. So from June 14th, on June 14th, my balance is $5,227.61 all the way to what date do you think? It will be the same all the way to what date? Not the 18th, because you have these, but the what? 17th. Very good. So from June 17th, that's going to be your balance, your daily balance, each of those days. Okay? Then on June 18th, I made two purchases. So let's talk about that. All right, so on June 18th, I made two purchases. So I've got to add, let's go ahead and add these now. So that's $102. Go ahead and add these. $102.12 plus $7.56. So that's a total of $109.68. So I'm going to add that to that now. So on June 18th, my balance has changed. So it's going to be $5,227.61 plus $109.68, and that's going to equal, let's see what we get. That's going to equal $5,337.29. Okay, so that means that from June 18th, this is my new balance, all the way to what date? Let's see, all the way to June 22nd, right? All the way to June 22nd. So each of those days, from the 18th to the 22nd, this is my new balance. Okay? Then all of a sudden, what happened? On June 23rd, I made another charge. June 23rd, I made another charge. Now at this point, if you think about your balance, I need to stop using this credit card because my debt is too much, right? Okay, so remember, credit cards, you got to be careful with your debt. That you can get into a lot of trouble with credit card debt, especially with those high interest rates. Okay, so let's talk about what happened on June 23rd. So on June 23rd, I made another purchase. Okay, so now my new balance is going to be $5,337.29 plus this charge, $16.28, and that's going to equal, that's what we get, $5,353.57. Okay, so that means that from June 23rd, which my balance was $5,353.57, all the way, that's a 3, all the way to, did I make any more purchases? Nope. So all the way to June 30th. All the way to June 30th. That is my daily balance. Okay? All right. So now here's the next thing you got to do. All right. So I want you to notice that the these days that was my balance. These days that was my balance. These days that was my balance, and so on. Right? Okay. So if I want to find the average of all of these, what do I do? Well, I take the number of days here. Well, first of all, I got to find the total, and divide by, and then there are 30 days in June. Okay, 30 days. So I got to add up each day. So this plus this plus this 3 times, this plus this, however many times that is, and so on. Okay, and divide by 30. That was what we discussed here, this idea here, except this was May. All right, so what I would do then is this. So your next part of the table will be, let's talk about how many number of days of each unpaid balance. Number of days of each unpaid balance. Okay, number of days of each unpaid balance. And I don't need a lot of room here. Okay, so you gotta be careful how you count this. So you're going from the first, and if you need to, you see how this kind of helped a little. So you're going from June 1st to June 4th. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? 4 days. Okay, so that'll be 4 right here. Then from June 5th through the 13th, let's see how many days that is. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Do y'all agree that's 9 days? Y'all agree that's 9 days, right? Okay. 9 days. So that goes here. Then from the next part was June 14th through the 17th. Count 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 4 days. That's 4 days. So it's going to go here. Then from all the way to the 18th. So that will be, starting the 18th. So the 18th through the 22nd. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 5 days. Okay, 5 days. That's going to go here. And then finally, from the 23rd to the 30th, count 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that's 8 days. Okay, 8 days. All right. Now count how many you have here, because remember you're trying to find the average. So you need to know how many days you have. Let's see. So that's 8 right here. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 9. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 5 is 21. Plus 9 is 30. So that's 30 days. Okay. All right. Now, here's what we need to do next. Okay. So remember that's 30, right? So rather than adding 30 things, remember how you do that. You know mathematically what to do. So you're going to take this was a balance for 4 days. So rather than saying this plus this plus this plus this 4 times, just say this. Just say that times 4 equals, okay, and that's gonna be the total for that period. Okay, so we're gonna get $5,323.86 times 4, and you get 21295.44. Y'all agree? So $21,295.44. Now we do the next one. So again, rather than saying, you can look at this, or you can look at this. So rather than saying this amount added 9 times, say that amount times 9 times. Okay, so that's going to be $5,203.86 times 9 equals, let's see what we get there. So 5203.86 times 9. So I get $46,834.74. Same thing with the next one. So rather than saying this plus this 4 times, I can say this times this. So that's going to be $5,227.64 times 4 equals, so let's see what that is, 5227.64 times 4 equals $20,910.56. And continue on. All right. So in reality, though, you can have a lot of this. If you look at your own transactions, you probably, hopefully, you don't, because these credit cards are killers. But if you do, you're going to have a lot of rows here, a lot more rows. But on your worksheet, I didn't make it that many entries, so you just have a few to deal with. Okay, so let's do the next one. So it'll be $5,337.29 times 5 equals, so we do that. So we get 5337.29 times 5 equals, and you get 26,686.45. And always double check. You have time to go and double check since this is a worksheet, because I could have easily messed up some of these numbers. Okay, so go back and double check. All right, and then finally, $5,353.57 times 8 equals, all right, so 5353.57 times 8 equals, and that's going to be 42,828.56. So $42,828.56. Okay? All right, now, what I found is this. So what that means is this: if I were to add up all of these numbers, these 30 numbers, okay, these 30 amounts, this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, that would give me, so the total would equal, and I got to add up these, so let's go ahead and add up those. So I already have this in my calculator, this last one, so I'm just going to say that plus all of these. So plus 26,686.45. Now always double check, because I could press the wrong button, so always double check. Plus 2,910.56 plus 46,834.74 plus 21,295.44 equal, and I get 158,555.75. So a lot of the areas you can mess up with your calculator if you're not careful. Okay, so that's the total. What I found is the total of all these days added up. Okay. All right. So make sure you understand that. So now you want to find the average of all that. So you remember there, how many entries are there altogether? There are 30, because there are 30 entries. Okay. So therefore the average daily balance is going to equal that divided by that. So 158,555.75 divided by 30 equal, let's see what that is, and round it to the nearest cent. Remember, nearest cent. So remember, the nearest cent means the hundredths place. So don't say this is $5,285.20. I got to make sure I'm looking at this right. So here's a decimal point, so that's a hundredths place. So this is less than 5, so that's going to stay a 9. Okay, so that's approximately equal to $5,285.19. So that's your average daily balance. Okay. All right, so that was part A. So again, keep in mind what happened. So if you want to find the minimum monthly payment, you got to find out how much interest you're going to be charged. To find out how much interest you'll be charged, remember, it's based on the percentage of the average daily balance. You got to first of all find the average daily balance, and that's what we did. So you do your worksheet, make sure you show all this, show all that. Don't be lazy. Show all of this. And if you want full credit, you got to show it. All right, part B. So part B is where we find the interest. Okay, that's easy. All right, how do I find the interest? Well, the interest says that the monthly interest rate is 1.3% of the average daily balance, right? Okay, and by the way, so we use the simple interest formula. So the simple interest formula is interest equals principal times rate times time. Okay. Now, principal in this case is the average daily balance. That's what that is. All right, so that'll be $5,285.19 times the rate, which is 1.3%, so it'll be 0.013, okay, times the time. Now, remember, we're talking about the time here, and this percentage rate is based on a month, right? Not a year, a month. So for time, we're going to use 1 meaning time is in months. So the 1 meaning 1 month. Okay, that's what that is. All right? So that's always going to be a 1. Keep that in mind. This is always going to be a 1 when you're dealing with this credit cards. And so therefore the interest, let's see what that is. So the interest will be 5,285.19 times 0.013 times 1 equal to the nearest cent. To the nearest cent, you get $68.71. $68.71. Okay, so that's the interest. Okay? All right, now let's find the balance on July 1st. So balance on July 1st. So see your new balance now. Okay, the new balance will be the O balance. Sorry. Right here. Oh, let me go back and find it. So the O balance, which is here, right? That was the balance. Notice this was the balance. Let me write it here. It's important you know that. So right here, that was the balance on June 30th. Okay, so June 30th. So from June 23rd to June 30th, that's your new balance, right? Okay. So the balance on, let me put this, balance on July 1st is, okay, will be the O balance, so balance on June 30th, which is $5,353.57 plus the interest. Now, this is sometimes called finance charges. Okay, finance charges plus your finance charges. So that'll be this right here, $68.71. So the balance on July 1st is now, so it is. So 5353.57 plus $68.71 equals $5,422.28. Okay, so that's the balance on July 1st. Okay? All right, now let's do D. Okay, so that's my new balance. All right, now listen carefully. So let's look at the problem. This credit card requires a $50 minimum payment if the balance is due. If the balance is due at the end of the billing period is less than $300. Okay, so is this less than $300? No. So is my minimum payment going to be $50? No. Otherwise, the minimum monthly payment is 1/25 of the balance due at the end of the billing period. And then always remember, you're going to round. The finance charges. I'm sorry. The minimum payment. The minimum payment will most of the time be a whole number. Okay, so we're going to round to the nearest whole dollar. Okay, now listen carefully. And we talked about this last time. Usually, if the minimum balance is not a set amount, if it's over a certain amount, the minimum payment is usually about 2%. Okay, 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever it may be. So if you look at this, 1 divided by 25. If you look in your calculator, 1 divided by 25, that is 4%. So in reality, your minimum payment is 4% of this. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Okay, so let's find the minimum payment. So minimum payment is going to equal. All right, remember the minimum payment says this. It's 1/25 of the balance due at the end of the billing period. So this is the balance due at the end of the billing period. So my minimum payment is 1/25 of that. So you're going to say this, that times 1 divided by 25. Now, which means this, though, which means this divided by 25, right? Okay. Now, if you didn't know that, hopefully you did, because you remember, if you look at this review from a previous course, what is let's say, 4 times 1/5? All right. Well, remember, 4 is 4 over 1, so you multiply the numerators. So 4 times 1 is 4. 1 time, then multiply the denominators. You get 4/5, right? So you can use that idea here. Use that idea. So this is this number is that number divided by 1. So multiply the numerators together. Get this. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 25 is 25. All right. And even if, hopefully you did see this, but even if you didn't, you could just say this times 1 and then say divide by 25. That's all you do. Okay? All right, so let's see what my minimum payment is. So my minimum payment is 5422.28 divided by 25. And this is what I get. Now remember, it says round nearest whole dollar, round up. Round up. So even if this was, let's say, 216.30, you would still round up. Okay? It doesn't say round off, it says round up. Okay, round up. So you round up to the nearest whole, to the nearest dollar, to the nearest whole dollar. So this says 216.8912, right? So my minimum payment then, is going to equal $217. That's my minimum payment. Okay, $217. Now, always keep in mind, you better make sure that you send this before the due date, because if they get it after the due date, you're going to get a fine. You're going to get a late charge, a late fee. All right, so always keep that in mind. You do get late fees. Some banks will make you pay a late fee. All right, so that's going to take care of this this problem. All right, so make sure you look at that. Go back over it again, and use this problem and the one from part 1, the other problem, to help you. And the other problem was this one here, to help you with the worksheet. Okay? All right, so that's going to take care of part 2.